Alright, so I'm finally getting to the reading today. Had a bit of a mishap this morning. My 4-year-old took a wet washcloth and threw it, and it, I guess, must have landed on my tarot deck because it was soaking wet. So I had to wait for I just quickly spread them all out and pray to God that they would dry. So they finally dried. I finally feel comfortable with using them now to where they won't, break apart or something. So it's been a day. For those of you with little ones running around, I'm sure you know what that means. Yeah, it's been a day. She also covered the bathroom in bronzer, so that also happened today. It's been a good day, but it's better now because I'm here and I'm doing what I love, so it's better now. All right, I actually, we're going to be doing, and this was a great idea for my sister. Thanks, Dana. DarlingDTarot, by the way. Go check her out. She's my featured channel on my channel homepage, so click on her and enjoy her. She's absolutely wonderful. I was asking, for ideas and tips and stuff on, what kind of videos, any ideas she had that I could do. And she had brought up forgiveness. And, I think, especially since it's something that has come up, like, quite a bit lately in the reads and stuff, I was really like, yeah, I think that's a really good idea to bring that up. Because I think a lot of people struggle with forgiveness and struggle with, not only forgiving other people, but, for forgiving themselves. We don't always make the decisions looking back that we would make now, but you can't really be too hard on yourself. So I think we're going to look at this from a perspective of, what are the things that we need to forgive? What are the things we need to move on from? People, places, things. I saw a quote earlier, and it really kind of touched me. It was something to the extent of, you can love someone and still not want to be with them, and that kind of really made a lot of sense to me. So I think, sometimes things are, beyond what either of you might want to continue working towards. And that's okay. If you can leave amicably and you can, both be, civil and you both know that the lessons were learned, and that's fine, But, when we're talking about forgiveness, a lot of people, I think, try to, they forgive and then they're like, yeah, but I don't, fuck them, and that's, it's okay to be you don't want anything to do with somebody, but if you're harboring some kind of feeling, ill feeling, that's still having something to do with them. I'm sorry to tell you, but if you're, if you have anything other than, gratitude and just, complete understanding, you didn't forgive them. You did not. You can argue all you want, but you didn't. So, until you can get to that point where you're like, you know what, this is why it happened, this is why it had to happen, these are what I learned, I'm thankful. Until you can get there, and there's no rush, there's no time frame, there's no any of that. It's just whenever one day just kind of it clicks, and you're just like, oh, all right. Everything that I'm learning, I'm learning that things are far more simple. And, at first it was really annoying. It was really like, oh, really? That's what this was about? It's so simple. And things usually are simple. The problem is we seem to complicate them, by adding so much extra bullshit to it. So we're gonna do the same general concept with, I'll start with the Dorian Virtue Angel cards. I'll move to my tarot, and then I'm going to finish up with a healing energy card. So basically this is just going to be forgiveness topic, general range forgiveness. What do we need to forgive? Maybe who we need to forgive, situations, whatever it is. So if it resonates with you, again, I'm reading for, you know, kind of a collective. So if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, it's meant for somebody else. Just don't even worry about it. A lot of different things for different people. So here we go. Ooh, I got King of Water, which is also King of Cups. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Okay, I got that a couple times yesterday. It said, open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice, charity work. Trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. So either this is somebody that you need to, you know, forgive, or they need to forgive you, or something. Could be a person. Or, you know, it could be that, you know, maybe when we get hurt, it's hard to, you know, it's immediately easy to be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm never gonna like anybody ever again. I'm tired of this happening. I'm tired of getting hurt. You know, that kind of stuff. And to kind of close yourself off, even if you're not really trying to like close yourself up, it's kind of a defense mechanism for a lot of people. You know, it's like they made the mistake of opening their heart up. They got their heart ripped out, and now they're like, that ain't gonna happen again. You know, so I think there's a lot of people who are really refusing to be vulnerable. And that's an issue, because you have to be vulnerable. If you want any kind of growth with someone, especially with your counterpart, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. And it's something that's very difficult to do, especially if you've had, you know, a lot of trauma in your life, because those are all things that are going to add to what you need to work through to get a connection going. Whether there's abandonment issues, whether there's just self-esteem, self-love, just all sorts of different issues there could be for you from past relationships. Yeah, somebody's, I don't know, it's like they want to forgive, and then they start to open up, and then it's like they're pulled back into this like fuckery. You know, I don't know what else to. Somebody's really been hurt. And now this might not be, this doesn't have to be someone even right now or recent, or this could be years and years and years ago. It could be, you know, a childhood thing that's, you know, popping up now. You know, the more work you do, it seems like you just keep going back and back. When you're doing, like, at least for me, when you start doing shadow work, you know, you just go back and back and back and back and back and back and back, you know, until finally, like when you're doing the inner child work and stuff, you're basically going back to like in utero, and then you're going back to past lives, and then you're going back, and you just keep going back and back and back. So this could stem from something very early on in your life. But there's definitely, there's a closed mindedness. There's a heart that really wants to be open, but once it starts to be, it's kind of like, No, I remember what happened last time. Not fooling me again. We've been down that road, right? Yeah. Jesus. Ugh. 8 of fire again. I wish whatever the hell this was would just come already, because I really need some new friggin' cards coming about. Like, this 8 of fire is 8 of wands in the Rider-Waite Tarot, any kind of traditional tarot deck. It's 8 of wands, fire energy, just a whole lot of stuff going on. Just things moving and moving and moving and progressing at a very quick pace. Lots of stuff going on, lots of just chaos. You know, just there seems to be stuff going on all around you. Like, you ever just like kind of stop and like you look around in certain times and there's just like, you just can't even believe because there's just like so much going on around you, you know. That's this energy. Doesn't have to be bad, but it's quick, very quick. Usually comes in, you know, like one of those cartoon dust clouds, you know, like, and then it's gone. So this leads me to believe that, you know, this was something that really kind of came out of left field. It was something that happened very quickly, and it seemed to come in a very inopportune time because it seemed like there was a lot going on just about every level of your life. So, I mean, it wasn't even a double blow. It was kind of like a triple blow, because this was like things were already kind of chaotic, you know, and then to have this happen, I think it was just an even more of a boot to the face, you know what I mean? Like kicking someone when they're already down kind of thing. So, you know, as you're getting these cards, I want you to be like kind of narrowing it down. You know, it could be a couple different situations, but I'm gonna guess for a lot of people, this is going to be narrowed down to probably a pretty select 1 or 2 things you need to forgive or work on, let go of, surrender, release, whatever you want to, you know, whatever you want to do. You know, and the second you start doing the healing and the, you know, the shadow work for this kind of stuff, it might take you 4 or 5 sessions of sitting down, crying your eyes out, and, you know, working through everything to actually, this isn't like you just sit down, you're like, and 20 minutes later you're healed. That's not how shadow work works. And if you're doing it that way, I don't know how like far you're going to go like quickly, because, you know, you should be feeling and experiencing a lot of past feelings, you know, and they're not easy. So if you're kind of diving into these old past hurts and feelings and it's, you know, nothing, then try again. Or maybe congratulations. I don't know. Maybe you're the person who doesn't have to have that kind of experience. I sure as hell do. All right. So we definitely are closed off. I'm thinking it's probably because we've been hurt and we're just terrified it's going to happen again. So right off the bat, you're not willing to be open completely. Something that happens suddenly. Unity. Archangel Sandalphon. Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations seek out mentors and like-minded friends. Okay, so for some of you, this kind of took a detour off there. Some of you, I have a feeling that you were raised kind of in a, I don't know if it was a, I don't want to say Christian, Could be, but like a very like a church-centered family, a very church-centered home, that kind of a scene. And, you know, I've experienced this myself. I was, you know, my mom was church secretary. You know, we went to church every Sunday. I was in the choir. I was, you know, acolyte. I was, you know, I loved church. And that was always a very big part of my life. God and, you know, all that. And then when you start kind of diving down these little rabbit holes of this journey, you know, you kind of start to see how much everything is a lie. And it's, you know, I think that ruins kind of trust in a lot of people, and like, especially in me, I noticed, like, your entire religion, entire everything, belief systems, everything you've come to know, if that can be a lie, if that can be not true, then how the hell is anything else you ever experience in this life going to be real? You know, and that's something that's very hard to wrap your brain around and kind of, you know. So for some of you, I think, you know, forgiveness needs to come from, you know, maybe how you were raised in a, maybe it was a very traditional, strict, very disciplined childhood. You know, maybe there needs to be forgiveness there. So if you had a parent that was very much a disciplinarian, you know, that was, you know, a lot more accepted and just kind of expected almost years ago to, you know, hit your kids. That was, nope, they're not listening, you smack them, you know. So that's, I think for some people that might be something they need to, you know, kind of dive into a little bit. I definitely, like, I see that being like a tower moment for somebody when, like, they started having, like, everything just imploding. And it was like dominoes. It was like, you found out this was a lie, you found out this was a lie, you found out this was a lie, you found out this was a lie. And it was just like, doof, 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 doof. So it's very hard for you to be like, then how the fuck is this thing right now going to be real? You know, like, everything else I believed in my entire life is bullshit. So how is this going to be any different? You know? God, a lot of relationship forgiveness, a lot of trust issues, huh? A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. So Two of water in the regular tarot is Two of Cups. Two Cups are the two people standing face to face. They both are holding a cup, full cup, to give to each other. It's like a divine union. Can also be seen as an equalness in male and female aspects of yourself. We all have both within us. So when you're able to balance that, that could be Two of Cups. I think this, as far as forgiveness goes, this is definitely a relationship. So I don't think this is really, it could be forgiving ourselves, but I don't think it really has anything to do with this card specifically. There's definitely things we need to forgive about ourselves, but not with this card. This is, it's a shame because this, whatever this is that needs forgiveness is something that really wants to desperately grow. Like, it's almost painful, you know, how much they both want it to work. You know, it's not one-sided. But, you know, there's no, like I said, there's no time limit on forgiveness. And if there's been something that happened. Oh, okay. Wow. They really want to make it work. But there's just, there's fear. There's still fear. Someone's afraid they're going to get abandoned. Someone's afraid that it's the wrong decision. Right. So right there, we know that we need to go back and remember a time that we made a wrong decision in a relationship. So not counting this person that you're thinking about right now, but go to the person before them that this might have happened with, or that this this feeling kind of first emerged. And because that's where this is stemming from. This isn't really probably, I mean, it could have been upsetting, but the rift that was caused in you didn't happen most likely with the person that you're probably having this with. This probably happened years earlier from somebody else, and now you're projecting that onto this person, thinking they're going to do the same thing. You know, so we need to be going back farther to see just where it's coming from. You know, it could be a relationship, you know, that never went anywhere, you know, that you both wanted it to, but, you know, and maybe you have guilt for that. Maybe you know, you feel guilty that you didn't put more effort into it, that you didn't try harder. You know, now they're gone. Ooh, High Priestess. Listen to your intuition. Have patience. Consider carefully what you want before acting. High Priestess is absolutely beautiful. She knows secrets. She's just awesome. She's very in touch with her higher self. She's very knowledgeable, smart. You know, she trusts herself. So I think maybe there's an issue here where before you've made decisions that kind of cause you now to pause a little bit when making decisions. I think that maybe it's almost like you don't trust your decisions. You want to believe, it's like you want to believe what you're hearing and what you're seeing and what you're feeling, but you doubt yourself, and it's because you've been wrong before. You know, in those times you also felt, heard, saw, and, you know, things, and you were also wrong then. So I think that's definitely, you know, what is causing this now. You know, it's just the fact that you were wrong before, but it's okay to be wrong. Being wrong happens. That's how you learn things. You know, so even if you were wrong before, it was a lesson. At least it should have been. You know, you should be getting to a point where you can see these things as lessons, but it's hard to see them as lessons if you can't identify them. So we need to really go back and kind of see where this stuff started, you know, and it doesn't always have to be romantic, you know, like most of the stuff that I needed to deal with, I'd say probably 98% of it, you know, like originated from something that had nothing to do with relationships. Like they were childhood things, they might have been past life things, they might have been just personal, you know, social things, that conditioning I've picked up over the years just from geographically where I lived, or, you know, the social circle that I hung out with, and, you know, all those sorts of things kind of like implant things into you, and over the years it's it's good to kind of look back and figure out how they affected you in certain ways, because they have affected you in a lot of ways. So we need to get back to trusting ourselves, but we need to do it in a way that's healthy and is allowing us to do it in an amount of time that is comfortable for us. You know, like I said, it might take a few times of going in and sitting down, and you know, if you feel comfortable with somebody, you know, do it with them. Have them, you know, talk to you about it. Have them, you know, kind of let you vent to them. If you're not comfortable with calling someone and talking to them that way, or sitting with someone, then go in meditation. Do it with someone's higher self, whoever you feel very comfortable with. Talk with their higher self. Imagine their, you know, and if it's someone you know enough, you know, and you connect with them, you'll be able to do this exercise with them. You know, if maybe you feel more comfortable doing it by yourself. Whatever, you know, whatever it is for you that works, start there. Don't be discouraged if you do it once, twice, 3 times, and you're like, well, it's not really done anything. That's fine. It's fine. You shouldn't go into any of your meditations with any kind of expectations for anything. You know, you shouldn't go into anything. I'm learning that with expectations, because, you know, it's limiting. It really is. It's limiting to you. You're always given more than you can even imagine. So why set yourself up for less than you deserve? Huh. Right? Yeah. Exactly. So, so basically, I think that was perfect timing for that card to fall out. Sassy deck again. And that goes especially for twin flames and counterparts. You know, I don't know how much I know it's like a term that floats around a lot, the false twin flame. And I don't think that they should really be called that. I believe they're more of a catalyst. And, you know, it's a very important person. You know, I mean, you know, it can look like, before you heal, it can seem like just such an asshole, you know. But they're very important because I think they show you how to love yourself, how to kind of depend on yourself. And that's a very big lesson. You know, like, you need to remember, like, when we sign up for all these things, you know, and we have people working with us, once we all get back to where we come from, more energy, it's not like there's still going to be this, like, you know, evil person, you know, with the mustache and the hat and, like, you know, like, real shady. Like, that's not what they are really at their core. They are helping you. They signed up to help you learn lessons, and you really need to be grateful for it. We shouldn't limit ourselves to what we think should happen. You know, you might have in your mind that one person is your twin flame, and that's it, and that's the only person I'll ever love, and this, that, and the other, and, you know, maybe they don't get the memo. Maybe, you know, maybe they do. Maybe they decide they don't care. Maybe they want to be with somebody else. You know. That's why it's important just to do the best you can, you know, because what you put out is, you know, is what you're going to vibrationally attract back to you, you know. So if you're thinking one person is it, and you're kind of closed-minded, and that's the only person it can be, that's who I've decided it is, you know, you might be blocking yourself from something really great coming in. Maybe your real twin flame, you know, because, you know, people, you can have, you know, feelings for somebody and it not be that. So it's important that we don't we don't latch on, you know? And I think a lot of you maybe have had that happen, even. That might be why this came out, is maybe you've thought somebody was this before and you were so wrong, you know? So then it's kind of like, well, do I trust again? Do I, you know, how do I even forgive myself for thinking that way? I was wrong. And you know what? Yeah, you're wrong. Oops. You know? You'll always be able to love again until you meet someone that you'll never need to after that. You know, so if it's true and you really always love them, then, but if they're not the one, then you'll find somebody else. So we need to stop limiting ourselves. There could be, you know, and sometimes we're not even supposed to end up with twin flames. You know, maybe we're supposed to end up with a soulmate. Maybe we're supposed to end up with, you know, somebody else. We need to stop having an idea in our head of what we need. Alright, what else do we forget? I'm already over. Yep. Yeah, we need to forgive that, you know, your life isn't exactly this Brady Bunch idea that you have in your head of where it should be right now. Okay? Everything is not always perfect. I don't care who you are. Alright? So we need to forgive ourselves that things aren't always perfect. That things aren't always rainbows. And we're not always emotionally 100% okay. It's fine. You know, I don't know anyone whose life is. My life isn't. Like that, you know, shit, look what happened to me today. That's just a normal day. With my daughter wiping bronzer on the bathroom. Like this, things happen. Things happen. You know, so don't, if you're not exactly, you know, where you thought or wanted to be by now, I wouldn't even worry about it. This isn't, what is that quote? It's like, everything will be okay in the end. If everything's not okay, it's not the end. And it's true, you know. So we really need to chill out. Oh, my poor cards. They're getting so broken. Look. My poor cards. Where it's okay if you're not exactly where you thought or wanted to be right now. It's okay. Because you're not always going to be there. Things can change, oh my gosh, dramatically. I mean, even just in 5 years. If you think about where you were 5 years ago, I'm sure you were very different. It's a very different situation than you're in now. You know, and if you think about it, 5 years doesn't seem like a whole lot, but a lot can happen. A lot can happen in a year, you know, in a week even. Like you don't know what's going to happen. And the best way to ensure that something wonderful will is to not limit yourself, to not have an idea, you know, of the only thing you're going to accept your future to be. You know, because the universe might have something even better planned for you. Might have someone even better planned for you. Yeah. You know, sometimes people just aren't, no matter how much you love them, you know, they're just not mature enough. They're not, you know, if it's always some kind of a game, you know, it gets to be where it's just like, you know what, have have a good life, I guess. The Tower. The Tower is something that has happened that kind of really rocked your world. And I think this is going back to that Eight of Fire energy. You know, it really was something that kind of ripped everything down. It could be, you know, all your belief systems. It could be the life around you, the life that you built. It could be a job that, you know, you put everything into and then you lost, you know, and that's really devastating sometimes when that kind of stuff happens, you know, and that's what the Tower energy is. It's something that comes in and completely just wipes everything away, and you're left with just a bare foundation to rebuild on. It's hard to see when you're going through the Tower just how important it is, because sometimes we build, you know, I hear castles made of sand, and it's true. Sometimes we build these castles made out of sand, and all it takes is just one wave and it's done. You know, so this is kind of the universe's way of coming in and being like, no, try again. You know, we need to look at it as a way of, it's something that I know you don't want to feel welcoming about it, but it's a help, because it's allowing you to rebuild, and rebuild in a way that you would do it now. Because if you remember, we were talking about making decisions back then that you don't agree with now. And the reason is because you have more experience now. You are more wise, you know a little bit more, you know a little bit more about yourself, about how you would rather have acted, those kind of things. So this is exactly what the Tower card does. It gives you that chance, once everything's cleared away, to go, oh yeah, you would do it differently another time around? Let's test that. And then the Tower comes in. So this could be something that really kind of just leveled everything in your life. Just like a new chapter completely. Whether it is welcomed or not, you know, I don't know. But obviously it's something within there that needs to be kind of healed, kind of forgiven. And it might have to do, I mean, this is like the Lovers, that, and this, it's, things didn't turn out how you wanted them to. I got two. So Judgment, having to start over again. Okay, that is paralyzing for a lot of people, for fear-wise. I know a lot of people, they just don't want to have to do that. Like, almost like if you've been like in a relationship while you've been single for a while, and you think about if you were with somebody else, it's like to put all that extra history, like you have to rebuild history, and that's not easy to do. And you know, you might feel that sometimes, my kids are laughing, I'll keep it here. You might feel that it's hard to trust that you'll be able to kind of pull through and be able to do that again, to put your energy into it, to put your time into it, to put your heart and your soul. And because if you're like me, like when I make a decision and it's like a green light, it's a yes, like I'll put everything I have into something, you know. So to have been hurt in the past to where I do that and then you get screwed, it's like, do you really want to invest that again? You know, because to always be putting up your heart is very, it's not something you want to do very much. So We also have the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords is limiting beliefs, limiting ideas, thoughts, those kind of, but they're self-imposed, you know, and there's things that this whole thing, this whole scenario, this not wanting to start over, not thinking that you could start over, that you even have the energy to give anyone anymore, that you be able to trust and you know, allow a relationship to even build, all of that is in your mind, you know, and there's something that needs to be kind of traced back and thought about there. I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to do a healing card. My kids are at their limit for being quiet, I think. They did pretty good, 40 minutes. That's probably a new record. Alright, Knight of Wands. So, here's another thing somebody might have to deal with. Knight of Wands is the guy that comes in super quick, sweeps you off your feet. You're like, oh my god, passionate, daring, adventurous, super great, wonderful guy. And then he rides away and you don't see him again. What the hell? Right? Yeah, that's Knight of Wands. Passionate and gone just as quick, right? Yeah. So for some of you, you've had one of those. Most people have, so don't feel too bad, right? He's in and out, but boy is he a good time. He's a little bit more grown up than the Page of Wands, who is also this energy, except, you know, he'd be the guy with the car. That's the difference. Page of Wands is walking. This guy can get away even quicker. So whatever guy that was, there's something there. This also could be, you know, Wands are action. There are things that we do. Sometimes there are things we wish we would have done. There's times we wish we would have taken different actions than we actually did. You know, like that. You ever see that meme where it's like, when you're in an argument, you'll have nothing to say, but then later when you're in the shower, you'll like think of like all these incredible comebacks, you know? That's what it's going on here. It's like, you know, there were times when you really would have liked to do something and then you didn't. And then it's like, well, I should have done that. You know, we need to forgive ourselves for those things, because if you didn't do them, you weren't supposed to. And there's really no reason, you know, to worry otherwise about it. That's how we need to think. That's the attitude we need to have. You don't need to be having regrets for things like that. Alright, we're going to do a healing card. And then I'm going to call it a day because I still have to do my Instagram post. It's almost 8:30 at night. But I wasn't willing to do my reading without those cards. I would feel just too naked. I need to have my cards with me. I love my cards. Oh my gosh, I was devastated. I was really having like a panic attack this morning. I'm thinking, oh my god, they're ruined. Alright. Answered prayer. Alright, so answered prayer. What we need for healing is gonna it's gonna bring itself about. And this is gonna be something that I think we've kind of put out there. You know, we keep getting that abundance is coming. You know, and it is. I know it is. I can feel it. And you know, it's not just me. I've talked to like so many other people about this, and it's all the same thing. It's all that this abundance is on its way. And when it gets here, it's going to be amazing. Some of it's kind of trickling in already, you know, which is cool to see. But it's you're just not even going to believe it. So for healing, you know, these are angel oracle cards. So what these do is basically they'll either give you a message or they'll give you precisely what it is you need to do to fix the situation. And this is more of a message card, especially for this situation right here. Everything that you've been really wanting that is supposed to come into your life is coming. We always get more, you know, than we could ever imagine. So my advice would be to just stay open, to not have, you know, those feelings that, you know, things have to go your way. Like, it has to be this person, it has to be this time, it has to be in this situation, it has to be, you know, like, it shouldn't be like that, you know. And just stay open to things being wonderful. Things are coming, and you just, I keep saying it, I know I keep saying it, but it truly, things are really just, it's going to be amazing. Just keep doing the work, keep working on yourself, keep growing, keep learning, keep hustling, keep whatever it is you need to do, just keep on keeping on. And everything you need will come to you at the exact moment it needs to. All right. I hope this was able to help somebody. I hope this really resonated with some of you. I hope it brings you healing and forgiveness. If it did, like and comment below. I would love to know what kind of, you know, things you're working with as far as healing or forgiveness. You know, what are some of the things you've had to forgive with your twin flame? What have you, you know, everyone goes through these kind of things, you know, so it's nice to, and I think a little comforting too in a lot of ways when people can, you know, kind of rally together and realize that we're all in this together and we're kind of going through it. Situations might be different, but the ultimate, you know, thing is still kind of alike in a lot of ways. So it's nice to know that there's other people feeling those things. You know, even if I don't resonate with it, somebody else who reads your comment might resonate with them, you know, and it could help them out. So let's get dialogue going. Let's get, you know, comments. And I want us to all kind of learn and grow and help each other to kind of blossom throughout this whole journey. It's important that we all stay kind of as sane as possible, if that's even possible, because it's not always easy. It's not. But it's always interesting. That's for damn sure. All right. Give me some comments. Give me some likes. Yeah, my kids need to go to bed. All right. Bye.